So let's start off, I reckon, guys, with match one,
Mm.
which was the women's elimination chamber. Anthony, you want to go through the participants?
All right, so match one was was a women's elimination chamber to determine who will face the EST of WWE, Bianca Belair, for the Raw Women's title at Mania, and the field consisted of Asuka, Carmella, Raquel Rodriguez, Nikki Cross, Natalia, and Liv Morgan.
What was
Well,
our
the Elimination Chamber, but interesting they started with one, but I guess when you've got, well, two,
Yeah.
you probably got to kick off with one, and the women's one was interesting. So for those who don't know, and I'm sure all our fans would know, but effectively there's six people in the Elimination Chamber, four come out and go into pods, and then number 5 and 6 kick off the match, and effectively the winner is the last woman in this particular case standing. Interesting to note, and I know they say it every year, but you sort of forget Mick and Anthony, but that Elimination Chamber, which is basically a massive modified cage with pods, but weighs 30,000 pounds.
Yeah.
2 miles of chain link, and it's 16 foot high. Like, it's a monstrosity of a what do you call it? I was going to say an erection, but that's probably not quite the word I was looking for.
It may give some people some erections. Who knows?
Well, it might. It might. Oscar said, "Oh, never mind." But anyway, so Oscar was. It was interesting. I thought she would win because she sort of seemed the most likely. And I thought maybe if she didn't, maybe that Raquel Rodriguez, if they gave her a push, but it might still be a bit early for her. It was interesting to know. Then, of course, Natalia, she started the match, but she must be coming to the end. I thought, will they give her one final hurrah sort of thing? But obviously they didn't. And Liv Morgan, well, excuse me, might be out of chances now, but I thought the match overall was actually quite good.
Yeah, I agree with you. It was a good match. The start of the match I thought wasn't too bad with Liv and Nat. There was a bit of wrestling to start off with, but you can see the class difference between the two of them and how they chain wrestle. Like, Nat's a lot more proficient at it than Liv, right? I was actually thinking Liv Morgan over, right?
Really?
I was when the match started.
Oh, okay.
And I said to Anthony when we were watching it, because I was trying to figure out, well, you've got Bianca Belair, which is such a great face, and Liv starting to become this bitchy heel, quasi bitchy heel. We'll always at the end of the review of this match, we'll say who won. But I thought that, and I know I was completely wrong in the end of it, right? But I thought the way that it started very, very well, I really liked that Raquel Rodriguez. I think once they polish her up a bit, she's going to be very, very good. She's always been decent size.
It can almost be sort of the next Rhea Ripley in terms of height and size and a bit of muscle and that, but
not the charisma.
Sorry?
Not the charisma.
Well,
I think that's the. I think between Rhea Ripley and every other woman at the moment, the most outstanding thing is charisma.
Yeah. Look, you've been around a long time with the wrestling too. And wrestling, do you feel that once someone gets comfortable and they know what they're doing and it's all just second nature, the charisma develops a bit, or you've either really got it or you haven't?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things, you've got it and you haven't. It's a bit like look. We've seen guys that have been big guys, right? Walk through best way to know is watch a guy, a certain look, walk through a shopping center. If nobody looks at him, he's not got the look. If everyone turns around and stares, he's got the look.
Yeah.
I'll use Big Huss as an example, right? Which
Yeah.
he's just going back to jail again by the sounds of things.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he was in the
Um,
newspapers for trying to beat somebody with a rod or something, some ex-kickboxer or something.
um,
But that guy there, when he walked through an airport or something like that, people turned and looked at him. He had that look, he had it, where sometimes you'll see guys that'll walk through. I'll use Cremator as an example of a guy that I toured a little bit with here and there. Nobody
oh,
would look at him. He's just like another dude.
yeah.
And I think there's a bit of that. And I think you can't teach that
No.
to to quote Enzo Amore. You can't teach that, right? And you can't teach charisma. Either the person got it or they don't. And in wrestling, look and charisma is probably the two biggest thing you need. You can flunk your way. Look at Hogan. You can flunk your way through wrestling side of it, But if you don't have those two things, and the one thing Rhea Ripley's got, she's got great look, right? Because of the goth look and that.
Yeah.
And she's got great charisma and she can actually work. A bit like Flair's the same. Even Becky Lynch is the same. They've got those three bits, those three pieces that they've got together. And there's guys that have that kind of thing too, obviously, like Roman Reigns, right? He's got a look that if you walk through an airport, people are going to look at him. He's eye-catching. His charisma is fantastic now. I was a bit concerned about it a few years ago. Now it's fantastic. And he's very athletic and understands the business and how to wrestle. So, I think those three things you really, really need. There's heaps of guys that we've met in the past that have had skills that have been unbelievable. And you've been in the business long enough too. You would have seen this many times, Peter, of guys that have had the ability and have been just brilliant wrestlers.
Yeah.
Even had good physiques, but nobody were interested in them.
One that always comes to mind, and I don't know why it does, but whenever someone talks about that, I always think about it. Probably one of the greatest technical wrestlers I saw in person. He's been a multiple-time NWA World Junior Champion, wrestled all over the world, and it's the Englishman who's unfortunately passed away a few years ago now, but Les Thornton.
Yeah.
But just had no charisma. Had a reasonable body, like had a good old school solid body. Could tie you up in knots. You wouldn't even see it coming. Knew everything, and nice guy. Like I actually spoke to him. Nice guy, but just no charisma.
That's right, and I think that's something that can't be taught.
Nah.
Either you have it or you don't, and it's like within look too. Either you have it and you don't. So when you're looking at the women, right, and I put Liv Morgan down as one of these interchangeable blondes.
Yeah.
Right. The look, they got so many blondes, and that their look really doesn't matter for her. She's always going to blend in. We were talking about this before this started. Actually, was Mandy Rose.
Right? Yeah.
Mandy Rose was an interchangeable blonde. Went to NXT, blonded her hair, darkened her hair, and was the champion there and was over.
Yeah.
So I think that's a bit of a detriment to her. And getting back to Raquel, which we originally started was Raquel Rodriguez, right? She has a great look, but my concern is charisma.
Yeah.
If she gets the charisma side of things right, she gets a little bit of Latin about her, a little bit of Latino.
Yeah.
Bit of Latino flair. She's a bit too much, Latino, grew up in an American white household sort of thing, very bland. So she gets a little bit of, Latino heat about her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's definitely one to look for in the future.
And they were talking in the commentary, which made me think maybe Liv might get to the end. And they kept going on about how she lasted 1 hour and 1 minute in the Royal Rumble, and now she started off early again. I thought, oh, okay, maybe they're going to let her go right to the end again, Obviously, it didn't happen. But I thought, and Anthony's our connoisseur on the ladies wrestling, because his glasses fog up whenever they all come out, but as did mine, Anthony. but I thought the beauty in this one, and a little bit in the US title one later on, we'll talk about, but I think they all got to do their bit. They were all fairly well sort of coordinated. It wasn't sort of stop-starty. It wasn't sort of botchy. It wasn't, hey, I'm setting up, waiting for you to come. And I actually thought it had a nice flow, and I actually liked it. I thought it was really, really quite. I think it was a smartly worked match.
Yeah, normally chambers and you can put rumbles and
Yeah, it's all the same. Yeah.
in the sense that they're a bit clusterfucky sometimes too.
Yes.
It's just with the chamber, it's a bit of a structured clusterfuck. But anyway, yeah, I didn't know. Like as I said, I'm like, well, how are they going to do this? And then because if you really look at it, you could have done it. The only real heels he had in the match was Asuka, Carmella, and Nikki Cross. The rest were faces.
I still question the Asuka thing at the
Yeah, I was
moment
just going to
as a
say, would you
heel.
class her as a heel? I wouldn't.
She's over.
Oh, God, yeah.
You know, like if you could hear the fans, I don't know what they're hoping if they push her enough that she'll be a heel. I don't know. I think that that people want to like her. That's why I was quite surprised about the result at the end of this match, because I'm thinking, well, you've got probably one of your number one babyface females, which is champion. I don't know.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? You know?
but look, clearly, out of the 6 women, in my opinion, Oscar and Natalia were the 2 class above the other.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So it theoretically should have had to be one of them, unless they were going to just give someone a push or do something. Personally, I'm quite happy that Oscar won it. I actually think that she goes to WrestleMania now and wrestles Bianca Belair.
The belt should change.
I think it
really
will.
should change,
I actually yes, exactly right. I actually think Oscar will win.
I think it should
really
change.
do.
If it doesn't change, you're only stalling the division.
I think it will. I really, really do. And the women's division, you still got Charlotte, you got Becky, you got Bayley, Rhea Ripley, obviously. So it's probably about half a dozen sort of standouts, and the rest, as you said, a bit of a mixed lolly bag. You can, sort of pull any lolly out the bag, and they'll just. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if you do, Anthony, whether it's a work or it's true or what, but the whole Alexa Bliss thing that, she's now taken time away and all of that. I don't know if it's something in the lead up to the whole Bray Wyatt thing, which is giving me the absolute shits, and I've gone right off it. But have you heard any more, or is it genuine? Or
well, she came out and said, "Don't trust any other sources that aren't me. If it's from me, then it's happening. If it's not from me, then it's more than likely not."
I'm wondering whether they're sort of grooming her to, for WrestleMania, she's part of the Bray.
I hope not.
Well, it looks like it's going that way, doesn't it? Because what's his name, Uncle Howdy Doody or whatever, keeps.
Yeah, I can't watch it. It makes me sick. I know this is off the pay-per-view, right? Than what we're meant to be talking about, right?
Yeah.
But without a doubt, this whole Bray Wyatt Howdy Doody is the biggest load of shit. If anyone from WWE listens to this, right? Please reevaluate this fucking shit.
And
this is terrible.
And there's a simple reason why, and you and I both know why, because we've experienced it, we've seen it. When you give anybody some sort of creative control, yet alone full creative control, they don't always necessarily, just because you're a good worker and you're popular doesn't mean you know how to book or how to tell a story or whatever. This thing died before it even started.
Oh yeah, it was dead when he got cooked on the ring as the Fiend.
Yeah, we all got a wee bit excited. Oh, okay, he's coming back. What are they going to do with it? Is it another sort of bloodline story, and it's going to capture us? Honestly, when I watch it now and they come on, because I record it because I'm at work, I fast forward the whole segment now. I don't even watch it.
We fast forwarded too.
Yeah, it is just, it's dead in the water. And the same thing when they gave Hogan full creative.
Yeah.
NWO and over at WC. You do not give, and you and I both have talked about this many times, and Anthony and even Gene and I are big talkers about it. If you're actively involved in the show and you're talent, You should have nothing to do with the booking, nothing to do with creative.
Yep.
Nothing. Your
100%.
best bookers and your best whatever are those who've got no vested interest in anything except a bloody good match, a bloody good story, and pleasing the crowd, i.e., something like the Bloodline thing that's, I think, probably been their best story for, God knows how many, probably decades.
Yeah, that's right. It's been the best thing they've done for a long time.
That's the only reason I watch it now is for that.
Yeah. Well, look,
that's the only thing that still captures me. I've become a mark for that story.
Judgment Day have hooked me in, right?
Yeah, well, really. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute because that match tonight with that and
it was a great match.
Big time.
But you're right, and I don't know what. Look, Hogan having full creative control was a shocker at times.
Oh,
but this shit that Bray Wyatt has put on, this is another level of shit.
And he's not Hogan.
No, look,
with
the whole Swamp Man gimmick thing, right? Now with that in the early version of it, with the, I was hoping they're going to bring it back like that, Wyatt family, and you could hook him in with other feuds and that kind of thing, put the strap on him. But this whole thing where now he's schizophrenic and Uncle Howdy, and he's now got the Fly Funhouse again. This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I don't understand why anyone in their right mind in any form of management there is okaying this.
Well, it's almost like you're letting the nut jobs run the asylum.
Yeah. If this was your company, your business, right? Even in the situation is at the moment where it's a publicly traded company. If this was you were the manager of that, you wouldn't allow this to happen. You'd be saying, mate, come on. This ain't going to happen.
Even at our little local level where, we do small shows and, if you get 200 people, you think you've done well and whatever. If I was offered Bray Wyatt and that gimmick to come to one of our shows and do it, I wouldn't do it.
No, it's
an absolute shit show.
It is.
But, we should get back on it.
Yeah.
But that was the whole Alexa Bliss thing. So I think the fact that they brought her back, they gave her a bit of a run, and then all of a sudden they've just slammed the brakes on it. It reeks of going back into that, and I think that'll fuck her over too.
Oh, I think she'll be done if that happens.
Yeah. But anyway, what did we end up scoring the women's elimination?
Oh, about 7.5.
Okay. Anthony?
I went 5.
You went 5?
Yes.
Geez, you were harsh. I went 8. I thought that was one of the better women's, let's call it a group match for lack of a better word, because if you think of the Royal Rumble and this, I thought that this was one of their better ones for all. The other thing I liked about it, Anthony, was the mix. You got the off her head Nikki Cross, you've got Natalia, you've got Oscar, you've got Carmella with the whole Staten Island thing, and I thought the mix was quite good. It wasn't a bad mix. It wasn't a whole heap of the same either.
Actually, I like the flow of the match better than the men's one.
Yeah,
I thought the eliminations were more spaced out.
Yeah.
Right. It left more numbers of less numbers, but wound it down really, really in a nice way.
Yeah.
They went over the top, but not too over the top with some.
I thought it was a very good start, because when I look back, I sat there, I was watching in that, because I was late watching, but I'd recorded it, so I was just watching on replay and trying to catch up, which was fine. But I just thought, actually, this is starting off good. So I went 8 out of 10.